Yeah, hello and welcome to the second video of the crash course. So, what we're going to be trying and doing in this little section of the next few videos, we're going to build a little site. You can use your own name, obviously, and it's going to look like this. So, yeah. So, what we want to do, let's open up Visual Studio Code. So, don't look at that. Oopsies. This should be in here. So this is what our code looks like. This is what we're doing. So obviously, we don't actually need the welcome page. So what we're going to do, unit 1, lesson 1, we're going to create file, just right click and new file. And we're going to call it index.html. It can be any name, but the last HTML has to stay the same. Also, try to keep the name index. It'll be useful for later when we start hosting our websites. So, yeah, I'll show you then. So now, I've created index.html. So, this is your HTML file. So, there's something called the HTML boilerplate. So, the boilerplate is like a little bit of code at the start that says to the browser, hey guys, there's a HTML file. Wow. So it actually looks like this. HTML. Cool. Now, you know what? Here we go. So this is what it looks like. You've got doctype HTML. Guys, it's an HTML file. HTML, language, English. So there's the language that we are working in, the actual word language. Heading, header, something that's just head. And then meta charset, you don't actually need meta, but when you're just using the default boilerplate, so let's just get rid of this confusion. So title, this is what's going to come up the top here. This is the title. So let's just call it my site, because why not? Now, there are many different, now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create a header. That's what H1, H2, H3 is. There are different types of headers. There's a H1, which is what this is. It's big. H2, smaller. H3, H4, H5, H6. They get smaller and smaller and smaller. H6 is even smaller than P, which is paragraph text. It says H5 actually. H4 and P are the same, yeah, it's the same size. So, this is different ones. Obviously, for the very title, we're going to use H1, header 1, and header 2 is for like subtitle, 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 and subtitle. It does get quite small. There is no more than 6 though. So, up here, we're just going to create a nice H1, which is what this is. All you actually need to do, you don't need to go type the opening thing. You just need to type H1. Then so this section, this is the start. It's got a little square. It's like the little less than symbol, then whatever it is, then more than symbol. Essentially, it's just like you're putting that inside there. This is the ending, just like it's just, oops, it's just like the start, except it's got a little slash. It's got that little slash, which means it's the end. If you look, the header, you've got the little slash at the end. The HTML, you've got a little slash in the body. The title, so you'll have one in the H1 as well. All you just need to do is just type H1 and press enter. Because when you type H1, shows you, here, look, H1, H2, H3, H4, there's all the things with H in it. So obviously using H1, you can just click on there or just tap enter. Then ta-da! Now you can just say like, I'm putting Vishesh's site. This, obviously, put your own name. Don't put my name, that'll be weird. So that's just Vishesh's site. Yep. Now, you're going to want, so that's H1. So that's all the headers. And then you've got paragraph text, which is just P. Easy. Now, here you can write like, yeah, that's what it does. Lorem does some absolute gibberish. Yep, so that just writes that out. So that's a paragraph text. It writes paragraphs for you. So if you want to see what you're doing, like what your code looks like, go over here where you can see your index.html file. Right click it. Go to copy path. Not copy relative path, copy path. You can also do Shift Alt C, but let's be honest, we're not going to remember that. So just copy path. Go to your Chrome browser or any browser. I'd actually recommend that you use Chrome because Chrome's got Chrome DevTools. Yes, there are other DevTools, but Chrome, it's got a lot more stuff. So yeah, I'd rather use Chrome. So you've got, now that's the thing that you copied this. What you're doing, you're going on a local file. You're viewing a file. So this is what it looks like. Here's a site, and then this is your paragraph text. Ta-da! Obviously, if it reaches the end, it's going to come back again. So obviously, we don't want lorem ipsum dolor sit amid whatever. Just close it. It's not undoing, so I'm going to have to do it manually. So let's just do my 7. So, yep. So all the text that's being rendered, you don't have to put like stuff and stuff. You don't have to do that. Just really simple, really easy. Just write your code in between the two stuff. Yeah. It's nice and easy. So this is what it looks like. If you want to go check it out, refresh here. Usually, I've set it up so every time I exit the file, it saves. But if it hasn't saved, it won't actually show up here. So make sure your Control S or Command S for Mac users that you're saving your file. Otherwise, it's not going to show up when you look at it here. So that's your stuff. Now you might see this is what we have now. This is what we're trying to get. Where's this line coming from? This, I think I mentioned it last video. Yeah, I mentioned it last video. This line, it's an HR element. Probably are not going to use this, but it's a nice little thing that looks nice. You don't have to use any CSS for it. It's just this thing. It doesn't need an ending. It also works fine if you just put it like that, but nobody likes that. Some people do. I don't. So that's your HR. Look here. Refresh it. Now I've got a line. Goes all the way across. Now, we want to get all of this. Let's see. Do you think you'll get all of this? Well, pause the video and see whether you can get this to come up. Hopefully you actually did it and you're not just waiting for me to do it. If you haven't, just go back and do it. I don't mind. But obviously if you're really not sure, you can just watch what I'm doing. So this is an H1. It's pretty obvious. All you need to do is get your H1, H1, and ta-da, now you got your H1. You can just write this is a H1. He's gonna want to fill it, so don't press enter. Just click out. Ta-da, now you've got your this is a H1. To get the rest, shouldn't be too hard. H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. Well, you might be thinking, why is there an H7? First, let's just save this. Go over to your Chrome. Check it out. Now it looks like this. What you might be wondering, well, why isn't there an H7? Well, let's just try it and see what happens, shall we? H7. You can't actually do it, you need to do it. And it's just set so whatever you type in there, it'll just automatically do it. It doesn't mean that this is 7. So this should not actually show up because your browser will go like, what's an H7? And it won't actually work. Watch. It just shows up as ordinary text. This will also show up if you just type here without using any of these tags. Oops. See? So your browser is very confused. He's like, what is this H7? So he just thinks, okay, must be some random text that he put in for some reason. So actually does show up as a H7, but you'll see it isn't actually doing you'd think it'll be smaller, but it's just text. So your browser is not rendering that as another heading, it's just rendering that as ordinary text. Well, not sure why you just put text without H or P. So that's an H7. It doesn't work. So now next we've got a P element because that's what we've got here. Is a P. Save. Go back over here. Refresh it. Sure enough, it's the same. Except for I put in all of its quirks here, and yes, this is really my code here. It doesn't matter as long as it's close enough. It's fine. So, if you've managed to get this right, it's a good job. If you got it right some other way without doing it the same way, oh nice, that's really nice. Show me your code because I'm pretty sure you can't really get H1s and H2s without using the tags, but just oh well, good job anyways, you just broke HTML. So yeah. So this is what we've just built. And this is quite cool. So the next, oh my god, it's 15 minutes. So the next thing that we're gonna make, what should we make next? How about let's just, yeah, well, if you want to find out, you need to go to the next video. Yep. So see you there.